Hi guys, welcome to Breathe and Beyond. I just want to do a little video about oxygen and oxygen therapy for COPD. Now, not everyone with COPD needs oxygen, but a lot of people on oxygen has COPD. So I have got, this is an oxygen cylinder that I use, and as you can see, it's got green full, red empty, and it's got a cannula. Don't get confused for the cannula you put in your arm. This is also called a cannula. This plastic nasal cannula. And what happens is you put it on like this. No, you don't. You put it on like this. Bosh, like that. Hey presto. And then you can adjust the levels. So I'm on 4 litres, 4 litres a minute. Look at my sticky out ears. When I sit down, sometimes I preface, I can put it on 2, but usually I'll put it on 4. Yeah, put it on 4 like that. I'm going to turn it off because I don't want to waste it. Now, these cylinders, I get 2 extra ones. I also have got a dewar of oxygen. It looks like a Dalek from Doctor Who. And it's liquid oxygen and it turns into gas when you fill up the flasks. Now, the flasks are separate, they've got a flat back because these ones can be a bit cumbersome. I only use these if I run out of my liquid oxygen. And also, I've got a condenser indoors that I use. You plug in the wall, and it's a condenser oxygen machine, which helps me when I do housework and so forth. So yeah, what is oxygen? Why is it necessary? What does it do? How does it help? Well, when I first got diagnosed with COPD, I had to get assessed for oxygen, not straight away, maybe 4 months in. So you get referred to something called pulmonary rehab. It's easy for me to say. And basically, you go there and they assess you like you do a 6 minute walk without oxygen, and then they assess your oxygen blood levels and your heart rate. Now, with me, I've got no other physical problems such as heart problems. The only problem I've got is physically is my lung condition. So 6 minute walk, they assess you. I'm on 4 litres a minute, like like I discussed, ambulatory when I'm moving about, going about my business. So basically, what it does, like I said earlier on, my oxygen levels drop down and my heart rate goes up. So oxygen is not necessarily to help you breathe. It is, but it's not for me. It's to help and support all your other main organs and functions of them organs, because basically your lungs are doing all the work, overworking, overcompensating because of COPD and because of the widespread emphysema. So basically all the oxygen is going in, and then it's a shortage. So the supplementary oxygen helps with the oxygen flow and keeps my blood oxygen levels up. Mine drops down to about 83, maybe a bit lower without oxygen. My base oxygen levels about 94. So yeah, because it COPD is not just a physical thing with breathing, not being able to breathe sufficiently. It also drains the living daylights out of you. You get emotionally and physically drained. You know, I could like have a bath, for instance. I come out the bath. It's like I've run the London Marathon. I'm shattered, mate, because I don't wear the oxygen in the bath. I find it a bit weird. I can't, it's so oxygen helps. Like another point with oxygen that I want to cover is first when I first started using oxygen, I felt a bit self-conscious. Um, and I still do a little bit. It's not about anybody else, it's the way I feel about wearing oxygen. Um, because my preconceived misconception of someone in oxygen were either older people or people who have got terminal illnesses who are gonna die or very sick. That like before and so once I put the oxygen on, I become very vulnerable. Yeah, it's just, for a fact, you know, I'm not a, extremely an old person. I'm not an older person. I'm not a young person, but you know, it's difficult for me. It's difficult for me. I do struggle sometimes because it does. I don't care what anyone says. People treat you differently. People treat me completely different. Like, say, in a supermarket, I'll give an example. If I'm in a supermarket and I haven't got my oxygen, I get completely different than when I have got oxygen on. And what do I mean by that? I mean, the general public are usually, cushy. And I would say when I've got the oxygen on, people are very polite and helpful, and, you know, you do get like a pity look, you know. I know people usually don't really take any interest at all, but you get one or two. And generally, people have a positive experience, although it can be a little bit maybe patronizing in a sense, but that's okay because it is what it is. So yeah, oxygen can be, for me, it's a blessing because it's medication. If I don't bear the oxygen and I'm running about, it's going to put a strain on my heart and my voice. So it's I'll show you, I'll kill me by not wearing it. So if I wear it, you know, which I do, it helps. Sometimes I feel uncomfortable, especially in the summertime when you're out, and you're out and about, you know, and it's like a busy fire. I get a bit, but in the winter it's a bit more easier to because I've got a hat and a coat and you can cover it like. So yeah, there's challenges with the oxygen for me personally, but I haven't got a choice. So I either get on with it or don't. I'm not going to be staying indoors all the time because I'm worried about wearing oxygen because I don't care. But it's how I feel about wearing oxygen, not what other people think. So yeah, some people don't need oxygen with COPD. Some people do. But yeah, I I'm very grateful that I get regular oxygen. And it helps me my in my day to day living. You have to accustom to, what happens, what happens. Like before I didn't wear oxygen, before I even knew I had COPD, I was okay, relatively okay, but then it got progressively worse. So I'm so grateful that I've had this illness for 10 years. And I would say I'm more well now than I was 10 years ago, which is um, it's a great positive um, for the care I receive. Now, you know, I don't just rely on, medication, because I'm adverse to, I do like to keep an open mind on alternative, you know, medications like natural remedies. Like with the oxygen, I have to, I have to take it. Um, if I don't, it'll be stupid not to. But I am open to other methods of, treatment as well, because pharmaceutical companies and whatnot. That's another story for another day. I don't, you know, buy into, the efficacy of big pharma and that, but I'm not going to go into that. So yeah, with the oxygen, I haven't got a choice. I take it. I'll be an idiot not to because it's essential for me to do so. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on oxygen a little bit, um, and to give you an update on how I use my oxygen. You know, how it helps me, what are the pros and cons, what's the downsides in a sense. And I just want to touch on and finish on this, um, the psychological aspect of COPD. Now, sometimes it's really difficult. Sometimes it's really difficult because if you have to think about what you have to do, it can be like, oh gosh, it's a lot. I can't. Yeah, some days you think you can, you know, run a marathon. The next day you think, oh, getting out of bed, I don't even want to. So from day to day, it's like one day at a time. You know, that's how I treat it. I treat it one day at a time, and that's all I can do. So anyway, enough rambling from me. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.